Hi, my name is Omar Santiago Fuentes Solis, and in this short video I will be explaining my results in the Backpack Marketing Simulation game number 2. In this simulation, I was in charge of managing the marketing for the company Snowsport. Snowsport is a backpack manufacturer that is catered towards urban commuters mostly, however, with a strong client base of university students that has the branding of being high quality and fashionable. However, it wasn't always like that. At first, I decided to make university students my target market, since they're the second biggest segment in the market with 34,000 potential customers, or 27% of the market, and a good enough growth rate of 5%. So I decided my backpack according to their needs, with a high emphasis in eco-friendliness and a cheaper price. And I also added a solar panel feature to increase the eco-friendliness aspect of it and be more attractive to university students. Making this backpack costs $21, so I decided to sell it for $41. And it's also very important to mention that at first my only channels were direct sales and the university store. I had a difficult time at the earliest stages of the simulation, mostly because one of the first mistakes I made was not paying any attention to publicity. This was because I didn't want my variable expenses to be high. However, my sales suffered drastically, only accounting for 108, mostly from my target market. However, I noticed that there were other sectors buying my product, but mostly urban commuters. And there I saw an opportunity to diversify my client base. And that's when I started playing a little bit more with my design. I changed the solar device feature from my backpack and replaced it with waterproofing for added durability. And also started a marketing campaign on the internet that cost me around $1,000. But due to my high fixed expenses and my still low sales, that quarter I got really bad results, earning me a loss of $248. I gotta admit that at this point I didn't really know what to do next, because I wasn't really sure what target to market exactly. Even though I was the leader in sales of university students, I wasn't having enough sales. In looking for a solution to this, I realized that my backpack was starting to get popular among luxurious trend followers. So I decided to now change the material of the backpack to a more luxurious one to make it more comfortable and appealing to them, and increase the price of my backpack to $55. The results of this, as you can probably imagine, were disastrous, earning me a loss of now $1,184. After seeing this, I decided to make a whole lot of changes, starting with my backpack. First, I took out the solar panel device feature and went back to the original eco-friendly materials I used at first. Then I cut back on my marketing expenses by stopping to advertise on radio shows, and also I started distribution deals with online discount retailers and department stores. Also, I started a sales promotion in the university store in hopes to getting back the trust I lost from university students when I went after luxury trend followers. And the results were actually pretty good. Now, if you look at this table right here, you will notice that the strategy was actually pretty successful, increasing my sales over 120% and my revenue by 157%. Also making me the top seller among university students, urban commuters, and luxury trend followers. If we look at the final results of me and my direct competitors, we can see that I was the second with the highest profit, the third with most units sold, and the first in total revenue. I also had the lowest marketing costs and was the third in the leaderboard overall, which was really good considering all the mistakes I was doing throughout the exercise. In retrospective, I would say that the turn that presented the most challenges with it was the turn number 5, because of my indecision in deciding whose needs I would cover first, and also my high variable costs. However, I made up for it on the quarter number 6, which would easily be my best period. And I'm sure that if the game had gone on for a few more rounds, I would have gotten even better results. On the other hand, one thing I didn't really do during this exercise was paying attention to what decisions my direct competitors were making. This was a huge mistake because I could have done changes to my strategy way sooner than I did, which would have resulted in higher sales and revenue. And it's definitely something I will pay more attention to in the future. But now, if I were to do this activity all over again, what would I do different? First of all, I will have my market well defined from the get go. One of the main issues I faced during this exercise was that I kind of betrayed my client base by trying to chase after sales in other departments that didn't really feel right for my brand. And that really affected my brand. No? That really affected the trust my customers had with me. Then I would select my channels at an earlier stage because, again, I suffered a lot from a lack of sales, also from a lack of exposure because I wasn't promoting my product in enough channels of distribution, and would be more wary of the marketing costs since that also brought down my profit. To wrap things up, I want to say that these sort of simulations are very useful for anyone studying anything related in business, not only marketing. And finance, which is my major, is not the exception. Because based on how companies and marketers modify their strategies based on what their competitors are doing or what the marketplace is doing, I can have a better idea of which products and ideas I can invest in to maximize my profits and reduce the risk that I take in investing. And with nothing else to add for the moment, I want to thank you for your attention.